That's good.
Good. Well, what's up, y'all? How y'all been? Welcome back to Zane and Lane. It's a little bit interesting this time.
Obviously, I'm not Zane, so that's kind of why.
So this is Kyle. Zane had to take care of a few things today, so Kyle's filling in. Kyle's our first-time guest.
First time, glad to be here.
Glad to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll get into a little bit about who you are and what you've been doing in life and shit like that in a little while. But, welcome to the podcast.
Glad to be here. Thanks.
Did it feel like, I don't know, did you think, how do you feel about the whole podcast experience so far? Like just with the setup and everything like that, did you feel like it was a lot more than you thought or what?
Oh, absolutely. Like, I don't know. I honestly thought I was going to come here and we just start shooting. You had all of this shit already ready to go, but
it's not easy. No. It's not just push and start. I wish it was. I felt the same exact way when I first started, that it was just going to be.
How much YouTube did you have to watch to get all this shit up?
God, I watched so much YouTube. Like literally so much I learned in life is from YouTube. And that's actually like.
You can learn almost about anything you want.
You know what's funny is I literally have that written down right here. Hold on. I literally have like.
Oh, in the topics.
Yeah, in the topics list. When I get to my topics list, I got a little notebook.
Nice.
My friend Lilith made these notebooks, and it's got a couple podcast topics on there. Shout out to Lilith. Not my first topic, but one of the topics I wanted to get into, and I didn't think we were going to jump into topics this fast, but I guess we're going right at it. Like what's the most important thing you've ever learned from YouTube?
Oh God.
I know it's like a freaking tough one, but I feel like YouTube is its like own university.
Honestly, like I didn't know it was going to get that deep already, but
we don't have to. Listen, we can circle back.
Well, let's circle back because I feel like that ties into like who I am, and I know that sounds kind of weird, but I'll explain later. You probably already know that though.
I think I understand what you're saying, just because but we're gonna come back to this. It's
fine. Yeah.
So anyway, like I said, Zane's taking care of some stuff today. He's not here with us. Kyle's filling in for the Zane and Lane podcast. I guess you're our official first guest.
You're official first guest.
Official first guest. I guess tell us about how do we meet you,
bro? Okay.
This is an interesting ass story.
You keep calling me the Craigslist friend because that's literally how it happened. But yeah, so for those who don't know me, obviously you and our close friends pretty much know I used to be a Jehovah's Witness. It kind of, to put it in a short sentence, it's like I woke up from the Matrix.
Damn.
And now it's like a whole other world. Like probably within the last 2 years is about how long I've known you, right?
Yeah, about 2 years.
I moved in with our friend, Brennan. Shout out to Brennan. And it kind of got to know you from there, but it was like, I kind of had to start over, basically, from where I was before, and it's just a whole new life that I've been getting used to the last 2 years.
So you started over life?
Pretty much.
It's like a video game reset?
Hit that reset, that hard reset.
So, I don't know, man. I feel like some people have a general idea of, like, Jehovah's Witness, and, like, I don't even know, like, the proper term, how to refer to someone. Like, what is to start off with, what is, like, the religion called?
It is... You are a Jehovah's Witness,
right? And
that's also the religion's term. So, like, Jehovah's Witnesses, it's not like you can say, like, the Catholic Church. Mm-hmm. That's, like, one term, and you call Catholics just Catholics. It's kind of the same thing. Jehovah's Witnesses, it kind of refers to the people and the religion.
Could you tell me a little bit, because I'm just totally uneducated on that. Like, I know, like, the general topics of how the people act, but I don't know, like, the baselines of the religion. Could you talk about, like... You talk about that? Like, what is it based on? Who is Jehovah? Who is his witness? I have no clue about anything.
The whole name Jehovah comes from this Hebrew word, which was Yahweh, and that's basically their English translation. All they really did was put, like, vowels in between the letters, and that's how they got Jehovah. Yeah.
I just spilled on myself. But we're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it organic. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but... Go ahead. No, continue.
So it's a fundamentalist Christian church. So based on the Bible, believe in the Old Testament and the New Testament. Jesus is like a center figure in the religion too. But it's similar to a lot of other Christian religions, except that they go knocking on your door, kind of similar to some Baptist and Mormon religions. Honestly, I get mistaken for a Mormon almost every time I try to describe it.
Really? I think like that's people. So I feel like people throw these three into kind of the same, like Mormons, Jehovah's Witness, and Pentecostal. I feel like people kind of throw them into that same group. It's just a whole
misconception. I feel like I have to clarify that.
Yeah, because I mean,
we don't ride bike. We didn't ride bikes.
What's like the main differences? Because besides that, like what separates y'all? And I know that's kind of like you having to speak on someone else's religion that you might not be that educated on. But
yeah, I mean, over the years, I've kind of gotten to learn a little bit about them just because we kind of had to. Like when we would go knocking on doors and preaching, we'd meet some of these people like out. So we kind of have to know a little bit about their religion to be able to kind of talk about it and have some common ground.
To like navigate.
Yeah. So I had to know a little bit. I talked to a lot of atheists too, which I am now, but that's kind of weird now that I think about it. I had to talk to them and now like I'm on the other end of that.
So was there like beef when y'all saw each other like in the streets, or is it just like
there was no beef? There was no beef. It wasn't gonna
throw
hands. No. I don't know. We just try to find similar ground, and at the end of the day, I realized like how weird it is to go and knock on people's doors.
Yeah.
Like when I think about that now, I'm like, man, people must have got really aggravated.
It's so forceful. I feel like I've had it happen a few times. And like with the service industry, like where I work at now, we actually both work in the service industry. But the most like attention I get or most suggestive things I get now, people just hand out little tracts, you know, like I think a lot of Pentecostal groups do it, especially when I used to work at Roadhouse. Like I would get them like once a month. And I used to save them. I actually got them in the closet. I'll show you later on. But I should have had them out for this, but I didn't think we were going to jump here. I feel like that's the way a lot of people are pushing it now. Maybe, I don't know if it's now or just like...
Well, I did a lot of that. Like we would have little tracts that we would sometimes leave with like the clerk at a gas station if we would stop. I used to leave them when we would stay in hotels for like the housekeeper and stuff, little stuff like that. But like nowadays, like everything's online. Like they have like basically their own televangelist.
They have a website?
They have a whole website where they do like basically podcasts, but they're like little streams.
Okay.
So they'll show like videos.
Like webinars.
Pretty
much. They do TED Talks.
It's not that, but
okay, but
same
so
thing.
Kind of like what you're talking about. Why do these churches still continue to think that showing up to someone's house and maybe not forcing it on them, but trying to explain them in person, and it is kind of forceful? Why do they think that's the most efficient method? Is that a religious-based thing, or is that like just how they do?
Well, it started off as a religious-based thing because they based their whole preaching work on a scripture in the Bible. Forgot where it is, but it's basically go door to door finding new followers.
So it's like the more followers you have, the more successful you are as an individual, but the religion is.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, that's a lot of organizations.
Yeah, you basically recruit new members. The more people you have in it, the more, because it's all donation based. That's
right.
How everything is supported. The more people you have following it, giving it more money, they can expand. It's just...
And I think a lot of people don't think about it that way. It's like everything is a business. Everything is ran off money. Absolutely. Even like the Boy Scouts and stuff like that. So the fact that you even brought that up is like, granted, it's there for a greater purpose of pushing that belief on the other people, or like sharing their truth to other people and recruiting people. But at the end of the day, it has to be funded by something. It has to be a business. Money, at the end of the day, inevitably controls everything. But I kind of got sidetracked with the whole money thing. I guess, could you give like a little bit more like description of the religion? Like just day to day, like what would it take on a regular day? What would you do? Like what, you getting dressed in the mirror.
Yeah.
What's your attire look like before you go knock on someone's door? Cause this is literally mind blowing.
It's just straight up business attire. Like when we had to go to the meetings, which is like just church service, it's full suit and tie. I literally remember being like 3 or 4 years old. I had a little suit. I had a little briefcase and everything. We had our like books and stuff in it. That's how we'd go on doors too.
Yeah.
And just knocking on people's doors. It's all about an image. So they want to be presentable. They don't want to be sloppily dressed and not presentable rather. So that's what they base their image on. They want to be clean and have that certain image.
Now, is that image based off of religion, or is that based on what they think people want to see them as?
No, it's religious based. Like they take it off of a principle that they find. It's how you have to be presentable to God, so you have to be presentable to other people too. So that's kind of how they line it up together.
And is there ever like a business casual day? Like,
oh well, yeah. I mean, like I would dress kind of similar to how I am now, like just casually, but
every time you were in public,
very conservative, like especially with like how they tell women they have to dress.
Yeah,
it's not like Pentecostal. Like I think Pentecostal have to wear like super long dresses or something.
And then that's a religion I have a little bit more knowledge of because I had some family members and some friends that are Pentecostal. And so there's like almost like 3 segments of it where there's like they consider it different levels of holiness, and that might not be the correct terminology, but that's kind of the slang of it.
Yeah.
Where like certain segments of Pentecostals, depending on what level you hold, like what holiness level you are. I don't want to say it like that, but that's what people say determines how you dress. Some people are a lot more strict, whereas some of the baseline ones, you know, like women just can't wear makeup.
Yeah.
But there's more like elaborate ones or more holy things where like y'all have to wear this this certain attire. You can never wear anything else besides the skirt. You know, it's like there's different levels. Some people are more casual with it, and some groups are more definitely more conservative and more by the book with it.
I think that's the same even in Jehovah's Witness religion. Like if you go to say one congregation or one part of the world, because it's worldwide, some areas treat it differently. Like they all have their own slightly different interpretation. Even though it's a central core thing, it's kind of up to the individual a little bit, and the discretion of like the people that are in charge too.
Yeah,
you know?
It makes sense. So I do have something to ask you. Do you know like a little bit about Mormons, at least?
I've read like...
You're more educated than I feel like most people, right?
A little bit.
Religion is not a thing I'm educated on, actually, and I don't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, no.
But like the fact that you said like you were atheist earlier, and it actually is kind of it means more for you to say that, I guess, just because you are so educated on so much stuff and you still come to that decision. It's an educated decision. It seems like.
I feel like it's a hard thing to be educated and not make that decision, because once you kind of look, like the way I look at it is once you've looked at all the facts, which is what I did when I was kind of thinking about leaving, that's the end result almost every time. You know, when you look at evidence, like literally every religion is all faith-based.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
Yeah.
There's no actual evidence that proves really any one religion, which is why there's like thousands of them.
Yeah. And they're all based off of similar principles, but executed differently.
Yeah.
But do you think there is a place for religion in the modern world? Do you think there's a use?
There is some, like, I'll be honest, like, even now as a person, the way I am, I probably attribute a good bit of that to how I was raised in the religion.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them teach good values, and like people who say go to religion after dealing with a lot of issues in life, like drug abuse, sexual abuse, anything like that, they kind of turn to religion because it gives them almost like a vessel to kind of guide their recovery.
And I've spent a lot of time, like I said, well, I haven't really said this a lot, but people that do know me have been around. I've spent a lot of time in a church organization playing for like a youth group and stuff like that younger. And then I kind of got involved in the church through that and kind of got on like, you know, the worship team and stuff like that. And you really do see some of like the people that are on like this, the most down of their luck, the roughest part of their life come through. And it's like, it is kind of hurtful sometimes. And I feel like maybe that's what it can be. You know, it's like, I feel honestly, some people do use religion as therapy nowadays.
Oh, definitely.
And it kind of does have that purpose. It's a guideline. You know, people want to be.
I feel like people might want to be more spiritual though. Like to a lot of people when they're kind of trying to heal, you think about like spiritual healing.
Yeah.
They use that as a way to do that, I think.
So, but definitely like spiritual and religious is two separate things. But I feel like they kind of tie together. But I feel like a lot of people nowadays.
That's the thing people want to say now is that they want to be spiritual.
They want to be spiritual. What I wish more people would do was be more empathetical.
Absolutely.
That's what's important. But I want to get back to the topic because I'm so bad at getting back at this topic. So I was asking you, did you know about like a little bit about Mormons? And you said,
oh yeah.
So you said yes. So like one thing I know about them, or maybe not know about them, but this is what you hear, what the media tells you and stuff like that. I could be totally wrong. But is that like they practice polygamy? Is that like truth or?
I believe so. Like,
I guess we could look this up. We literally have. But I mean, like, I'm just.
I think it's up to the person though, if they want to.
Is that a baseline thing? Like,
because I think there's a lot of fundamentalist religions that practice polygamy. I know they're not the only ones.
I think this might just be the most popular one. Like, there's even like you'll be like scrolling through porn websites and stuff like that, and you'll find like.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, let's just say, allegedly, you might not you, not me.
Never.
Allegedly, someone might be scrolling through a porn website, and that's a porn like you might allegedly see. Often might be
People with multiple partners?
No, Mormons theme specifically.
Oh my God, I've never been.
Yeah, neither have I. Never.
It's not something you look up.
No, it's just one of those things you come across like on the internet, allegedly, I guess. You know, everyone has come across something. So I want to see, anyway, I guess like that in question doesn't really matter. I just wanted to know if that was like an actual thing or something maybe I just had heard or whatever.
No, I think that's pretty true.
Do you think that, all right, here's a heavy one. Do you think that polygamy is valid? Not that is it wrong or right, but do you think like a relationship where both people are practicing polygamy or polygamy is involved in the relationship, both partners are polyamorous, or even if one person is polyamorous?
That's a little different though, those two things.
Polygamy and polyamory?
Yeah, because like polyamorous is more like you both have multiple partners, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, polygamy is, I think the way it's more built is it's kind of built around like paternal, what's the word I'm looking for? It's built around the husband, not the woman.
So
like they don't
like
both
the masculine,
have different partners. Yeah.
Is it specifically male or is it just the person that assumes? I mean, I guess traditionally it would be the male, but I mean, we're in a time where that's kind of...
Yeah.
So, anyway. Yeah, because that was like totally, I don't know, you hit like, I don't know, I didn't think about it like that, I guess. But do you think partners that practice, that are polyamorous, do you think their relationships, and not, this isn't all, it's just as a question, do you think that's a valid relationship, or do you think it's always the one person in the relationship seeking something they're not getting there? I don't know, I'm kind of curious on your opinion on it. We can totally skip over this. It's just a thought in my head.
My thing on it is, I think if it works for them, it works for them.
Yeah.
You know? I feel like the whole thing about a relationship is that y'all are both supposed to be getting equal benefits from it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
You're a team, definitely.
You're a team, you know? I think in a good relationship, that's what it would be.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be built around that.
And just to be clarify, like I've had experiences with like polyamorous relationships, situationships or whatever. I don't necessarily have a viewpoint on if it's right or wrong. I was just curious to see like what other people thought about it, I guess. You know, like how do people see it? I always feel like there's a couple ways to look at it. And I'm just kind of curious on like other people's view from the outside. I wasn't trying to like influence your opinion on it or whatever.
No.
I don't know. But what you got today? You want to talk about anything specifically? Like what's on your mind today? This is just like a casual podcast. It's just...
This was last minute. You
last
called me like 2 hours ago.
2 hour thing. I don't know if you had anything on your mind, any questions or anything. Oh, but let's get back to the YouTube thing.
Okay.
Because we were talking about that.
So YouTube...
Can you hold this podcast down while I go take a urinary break real quick? Can you...
Do your thing.
All right.
I'll tell the people.
Tell the people, please.
So YouTube... We already know it has like a wealth of knowledge. I basically discovered YouTube, and that's part of the reason I ended up leaving the church. Yeah. You learn a lot. That's all I got to say. The way the YouTube algorithm works, I still don't really understand it, but it just became a rabbit hole. You can get lost in that shit for days on end, I think. So... I want to tell him this, so he needs to get back. But
I'm here.
You here?
Yeah,
no, I just think like once I started like research, you don't want to know how it started? I was on Reddit of all things, and
wow.
I just discovered like there was this post about cults.
Yeah.
And I was always taught that Jehovah's Witnesses are not a cult. They are, but we're told not.
Well, what's the definition of a cult? Like, because I mean, you have.
Let me tell you my definition.
Yeah, tell me.
You want to know the difference between a religion and a cult?
Yeah.
I'm gonna quote Joe Rogan. So a religion is based on a bunch of people who follow. Oh no, let me back up. A cult is based on a bunch of people who follow a specific person. A religion, that guy's dead.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the way to look at it. Yeah. No. I got the actual definition for cult though.
Please tell me.
And it says, so the first one, obviously, it's a noun. So system or a system of religious. See, this is the same thing that happened last time. We had to look up a definition for a definition because I don't know this word.
What's the word?
Veneration. Are you familiar with
I
veneration?
think that means like giving praise to something.
Okay, so a system of religious veneration and devotion directed towards a particular figure or subject. It gives an example, the cult of Saint Olaf. I'm not really familiar with that cult.
It's Count Olaf.
Is Count Olaf the cereal?
The series of unfortunate events guy.
Oh, the dude with the long ass nose. I never read those books. I never got into them.
Those are like the first because I couldn't read Harry Potter.
I was about to ask, were you allowed to read that?
No. There's a lot of lists of what I was and was not allowed to do. Allegedly, of what I was not allowed to do.
Harry Potter was one of them.
I did read them.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did.
So Harry Potter, no, because I remember that was a big thing when I was growing up, that Harry Potter was banned by all these, not banned, but like shamed by all these like parents because they were teaching these kids witchcraft and all this stuff like that. But in my area, at least like in freaking Iraq, it didn't care. No one cared what we were reading. So I was like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? That's not even like a real problem.
That's the thing with like religious parents, or I don't know. They're always worried about like what their kids are doing, but I mean, if it doesn't fit their religious morals or something.
And that's a whole nother topic of like parents trying to. Let me ask you this, because I want to jump back, dude. Like, your religion is so interesting to me, like your experiences with it. But do you think that people that join are parents that force their kids into like religion and stuff like that?
That's really, what it was with me.
Do they really follow their religion, or do they really just want help controlling their kids? Like, what do you think is the normal?
I mean, the thing with that religion in particular, a lot of it is like me, for example. My parents were in it before I was born, so I was raised completely in it already. And I don't think it was specifically because, like, obviously because of we were born or anything like that, but I think people would use religion as a way to kind of instill the fear of God in their kids, you know?
Yeah.
Like that phrase.
So it's like a controlling factor at the end of the day. But I did want to ask you, this is literally just like turned into the Jehovah's Witness Interview Kyle podcast. But were you ever given a chance to reject the religion? Like, you know how Amish people are? I think it's when they turn maybe 15 or 16, they have the chance to like sow their oats or whatever, and they send them into the wild. Not the wild.
They send them out into the world.
The world, and they get to make the decision whether they come back or not. There used to be this whole show about breaking Amish.
Remember that.
That was a whole weird period of time of like breaking Amish.
They had 16 and Pregnant.
16 and Pregnant, Kate plus
MTV
8
shows.
Then they had freaking Amish Mafia. Like,
what?
It was stupid, bro. It's just like the gangbangers of the Mafia, of like the Amish people. And I don't know, it was like the super like holy level. Let's use that term again.
That's
like
so
the
hard.
top
Like, those two things don't mix at all.
What?
You would think. Like, why would the Mafia have Amish people? Or why would
I swear I'm going to pull up a picture of it. Do you not know what I'm talking about?
I think I've heard of it, but I've never watched it. And then that never made any sense to me.
So it's like, they literally sell them as like these gangbangers, like you would in like Sopranos or whatever, and they all wear these big hats and they all look cool. They look like Peaky Blinders all posted up or whatever. Peaky, not Peaky. But they ride in their like carriages, and I'm pretty sure they carry guns and stuff like that. And they like police like the Irish, or not the Irish. Damn, I'm Irish.
The Amish
thing. So like, look at these dudes with like, this is your boy. Look at your boy. He's dressed up. He's got the polo, and it's not a polo. He looks like we look at work, but he's got a shotgun. He's standing next to a flipped over carriage. If you could actually see in the background,
dude,
come look at this.
They robbed that carriage.
And this is what it looks like. I don't know how like serious it is or whatever, but this is like the four main people of the show.
Real.
I swear, like this was a TV series.
I mean, I know it's a TV series, but there's no way that was a real concept before they pitched it as a show.
Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Like, I don't know if they were just out. Like, look, he's got a freaking Tommy gun.
Oh my god!
No. What's the word I'm looking for? The cover page of it, basically. Like, I don't know. Look, this dude's name. So the main guy is Lebanon Levi.
They always have those names, bro.
That sounds like a gangbanger. Like, it sounds like his gang name. Yeah, I'm Lebanon Levi.
Lebanon.
Don't fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got your Benny the Butchers and all these things. Like, it sounds like his rap name.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
Lebanon Levi. He's got a Facebook channel. I mean, Facebook page.
How many followers he's got?
13K.
Damn.
That's not that much.
Little following.
Is he at the NASCAR track right here? He is in the pit crew. Oh, that's funny ass laugh. He's literally taking pictures on and uploading his Facebook.
He's just a regular dude.
And somebody commented, "You look like you're having fun." He's just like regular living life. He's in the pit crew of a NASCAR.
Like, you can't tell me that's a Mafia dude. That's just for the show, man.
He's just a character. It's like so. He's just the hamburger.
There's no way. Like, that's the thing with reality shows. So much of it is scripted.
So much. It's the furthest thing from reality. Like, you ever watch? Okay, so I don't really know what you watch and stuff like that. So it's kind of like funny to have these conversations. But do you remember like, what was like the reality dating shows that they had on MTV, like Next and Room Raiders and Date My Mom?
They had the disaster.
Do you remember
dates.
those?
I remember that one.
I don't know the disaster dates, but do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Where like Date My Mom is literally like one person would go on.
I never watched it.
So it was either the girl or a dude. They never really did gay couples ever. No, they did a few. Actually, MTV was kind of progressive with that stuff back in the day. They had a few of them, but basically like two people. You have set A and set B or whatever. One person would date the other. There had 4 people on the show, right? So 4 young potential dates. Let's take one away. Well, this one would go on a date with these other 3 people's moms to see if they got along with their mom enough to have the chance to go on a date with the actual person.
Did they know anything about the person though?
No, like they would get to interview their moms. It was basically like a podcast.
Weird.
So like they would go on a date with this person's mom, and if the date went well and they were like, oh, your mom's hot, maybe your daughter's hot, maybe your son's hot if you have good genes. I think that's
definitely
the thing,
true.
because you know how people, that's a common thing, people look at the mom to see how
well they're going to age.
People look at the mom or the father to see how their partner is going to age and see if they're going to be like attractive when they're older and stuff like that. It's pretty fucked up and creepy, but it's just a thing people do. So they turn it into a TV show.
That's so weird.
So basically, it's one of those things where like Date My Mom, they would go like do the dumbest things. Like I remember watching an episode where like the dude took the girl's mom to play paintballing as a date. Like they went like shoot each other with paintballs and shit like that, like throwing axes, like all kind of fun stuff. Sometimes they would do simple things.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, but sometimes it was simple like a picnic, but sometimes it was like some extreme like rock climbing, some bullshit that would look cool for TV, just like you're saying.
Yeah.
So that was Date My Mom. And then the moms would come on and be like, hi, I'm Amy. I'm 39. I'm the mom of Tammy. Tammy's 19, and you're going to love my daughter. She's smoking hot.
Why do they sound like that?
Because people don't know how to talk on TV, and they just talk flat. Like, they're just like reading a script, I feel like. But anyway, so they had that. And then Room Raiders was kind of the same, similar concepts. You had 4 people. One person would go. So this is how they sold the show. It was like a team, like the Room Raiders team, would go and pick up 3 people. They would just steal them randomly. They were like, all right, you're gonna be stolen sometime in this week, and they would randomly go steal them. And they're like, they're freaking out and shit, and they're like in their towels. Sometimes they're putting on clothes, and they go and kidnap them. They throw them in a van. So they throw all 3 people in a van, right? And then the team goes in their room and covers up all pictures of their faces, all stuff like that, and then leaves the room exactly how it is. And they all get in this van. They have a TV and a camera in this van. And then the the 4th person gets to go through all their rooms and with like magnifying glasses and black lights, and they're looking under their sheets and all kind of weird ass shit just to see what's going on with their room. And so like they're like, oh, you have a bunch of fucking stains on your mattress, you nasty.
It's the cleaning police, like
yeah, or like they would look at their underwear, they'd be like, oh, like you must have a big ass, like I'm gonna date you, whatever. Or like they would like the girls.
So it was a dating show then, still.
Yeah. So the girls would find condoms and like freak out about it on TV. The girls would find video games, they'd freak out about it on TV. Guys would find like dildos and they would like freak the fuck out about it on TV. Just like whatever sold for the camera. And then basically he would choose one room. He would choose whatever room he liked most because he was hoping that the person that was attached to the room is like the best person.
You can learn about somebody from the room though.
Yeah. You learn that when you freaking move in with your
my homegirl.
When you move in, not you specifically, but I feel like when anyone moves in with like their significant other, you realize I don't know, you gotta change a bunch of stuff.
Honestly, a lot that you don't even think about when you're just dating. It's just living with somebody and dating somebody is completely different.
Because I feel like once you actually start, okay, like before you actually get a serious girlfriend, like or like a boyfriend, a serious partner, you never really think about how your at-home life is too much. But once you get an actual serious one, like a partner that's serious, you will want to start inviting them in your house, moving them into your house, and then that's where it becomes like your home and how it's built and how it's set up and how things are organized are so important.
Well, the other thing is too, like if you're just dating, you can kind of make a little bit of appearance, like you only see maybe one side. Once you start living with somebody, you see every side of them.
Yeah.
It's a lot more comfortable, like in different times of their life.
Yeah, definitely. So we got on like serious dating topics from Date My Mom. that whole thing. What was like a cartoon you like growing up? What was like your first cartoon that you remember growing up and watching? Because for me, like one of the first, I'm trying to think. This is putting me on the spot right now. One of the first cartoons I remember watching though that I would recognize and continue to like was PB&J Otter. That's a really like kind of niche one. Or like Franklin the Turtle. Franklin the Turtle
was my
Okay, so you watched that shit?
Yes.
I had a Franklin blow up couch as a kid. Dude, Franklin was dope. I don't know why he was so cool.
Bruh, I watched that. I watched Bob the Builder a lot.
Yeah,
a little bit.
But I think I definitely watched Franklin before Bob the Builder.
Some PBS, some Teletubbies, bro.
You watched Teletubbies?
I watched Teletubbies.
Damn. So you had TV?
Yeah, I had TV. We still had stuff.
I don't understand.
We just couldn't watch I couldn't watch the cool shit that we never watched Pokemon. Couldn't watch Yu-Gi-Oh.
Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh was like my childhood. A lot of early that, and then that got me into a bunch of anime and shit like that, like Inuyasha, Bleach, like Cowboy Bebop, all that stuff from there. I used to really like Sonic the Hedgehog as a kid. I like Sonic the Hedgehog. I like Buzz Lightyear a lot too. Those two guys.
Buzz Lightyear t-shirt.
Yeah, Buzz Lightyear was really dope. I remember like one of my earliest memories I have of my father was he would play, like we had a Sega and he'd play Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2 on it, and at the end of the level, if you would play a Buzz Lightyear, he would bust out his wings and say like, I don't know, whatever the fuck he says, to infinity and beyond. And he just flies off. And I had a little toy figurine. When he would beat the level, I would bust the toy's wings open and fly off with it at the same time as him. It's so corny, it's so stupid, but as a kid, like it was so joyous to me. But so who was like, I don't know, who was like your favorite character growing up? Did you have one?
Complete one?
I feel
like I watched more SpongeBob as a kid than any other cartoon.
Yeah, you watched it as a very young kid. This is super young. This is the SpongeBob dedication fan base podcast.
I didn't want to bring it up because we already talked about it
last episode. It was SpongeBob, and it was like Sponge Boy went to the history and all kind of stuff. But you know what? We're gonna circle back to it because somebody told me that SpongeBob was originally, like, they commented on the last podcast and they said it's our friend Eric, actually. Shout out to Eric. Eric said that SpongeBob was originally supposed to be like a super dirty, like dirtier than South Park commercial.
Really?
But it was like, it was pitched to a certain like Spike or something like that, but no one would pick it up because it was so dirty. Like it was dirtier than South Park. It was just full of stupid stuff.
That's funny.
So they had to tone it down, and then that's what SpongeBob became, is that toned down version. Nickelodeon accepted it. And that's why there's all those weird sexual windows and like dark humor in there. Yeah.
It's like,
he said he read that on Reddit, and I was like, damn, I've never heard that in my life.
I thought it was supposed to be like an educational thing at first.
What?
That's what I thought. I feel like I read that somewhere. Maybe I'm probably wrong then.
What would they educate?
It's like about sea creatures and shit.
I think that's just the canvas for like. Wait, you really think they're like?
I'm pretty sure.
Hey, there's no way, because like we were talking about last time, SpongeBob is literally a freaking a plastic sponge. He's a dish cleaning sponge in the middle of the ocean.
I saw a picture on Twitter the other day, and they literally had a pink starfish and like some kind of rectangular shaped sponge, and they was just like chilling on a rock together. It was real.
But wait, I've seen that picture. Yeah. It's like an actual sea sponge, and like the proportions are way off because
that's what his parents look like. They're actual sea sponges.
We're not getting this deep into SpongeBob again. Yes. I gotta steer us off this because like SpongeBob is so influential. That's the sad part though. It's like it's so influential to like American childhood that we just talk about it so much. It's such a baseline, and it's been going on for so long.
And now they have all the memes. Like that's probably the most meme show ever now.
Definitely that and Shrek. Did you ever watch Shrek?
So many times.
Yeah?
Like Shrek 2
when
on
did
DVD.
You... Shrek 2 on DVD. The fact that Shrek 2 on DVD is a meme, it's just a funny thing to say. Tells you that's Shrek and SpongeBob. Probably the two most...
It's the best ones. They're timeless.
The two most influential like things for millennials for sure. Age, Definitely. And even like a lot of Gen Zs watch all that shit too, because they were like relatively old, like at that time. Old enough to watch it, especially SpongeBob.
Oh, yeah.
And Shrek, there's like 8 Shreks now. I remember when Shrek 2
watching
came
after
out.
2.
So during Hurricane, God, it was one of the hurricanes. I was in middle school. I played Shrek 2 on GameCube, the whole hurricane. Like I played it co-op with one of my friends, and we just played the whole time. And it was so fun. Like you could switch between characters. I was always Puss in Boots.
I think I had it on Xbox. I played that.
It would have been Xbox 360. Or something like that. It was a long time ago. It was Shrek 2.
Yeah.
I was when GameCube was around.
Good shit.
Or maybe original original Xbox.
That's what I'm saying. I had an original Xbox.
Really?
That's what I played.
See, I thought your first video game ever was Call of Duty.
No, bro. Not first. That was my first FPS ever.
Okay. So we've been playing Halo recently, and we've been playing a little bit of COD. We used to. That's kind of how like all of us stay in touch with each other. We're just so busy working on different lives. We just play some video games, hop on Discord, stuff like that. And it's fun to play video games. We've been getting wrapped up a little bit too much. I need to step away from video games for a second again and focus back on life. But what was your first video game? Let's talk about it a little bit.
I want to say it was like NFL 2K.
NFL 2K, like a sports game?
Yeah, like 2K5. You know what it was? I didn't start playing video games until my dad did. I think he bought an Xbox, and that's what the first game he played. And I think before that, I probably played on the computer some. But yeah, that was my first console game, I think.
Damn.
Don't really play it anymore. It's kind of boring.
Like the 2K sports game and
any
stuff?
Madden sports game, it's the same shit.
It's just like Call of Duty though. They give us the same Call of Duty shooter. Anyway,
it's just kind of boring to me now.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it's boring. I just think it's not interesting enough to me.
There you go.
If you feel like I'm
that's
not
a better way to put it.
Entertained by it. We have to get back to that YouTube topic. I have to stay on top.
So getting back to I talked about it a little bit when you was pissing, but
yeah, tell me about it.
So
because I have some stuff to say about too, and then if y'all missed out, I'll just basically ask them what's like the most important thing you've learned from YouTube, or how important is YouTube to you?
I feel like if it wasn't for YouTube, I would not be here. Yeah, like I would not be sitting on this couch. I would not know you, because of that, I learned a lot about people who left the cult. Learned about the religion itself and a lot of other things that just kind of like made me open my eyes and realize what I was a part of and kind of why I needed to get out. There's a few YouTube channels that I followed that just taught me all that. And that's probably the most like life-changing event in my whole life though. I
think that's an amazing story, like right there. Like the fact that you even like said that. But like, I feel like that's the power of YouTube. It's like anyone can post anything and it's always there. And for the most part, as long as it's nothing crazy, it's not going to be censored. It's not going to be adjusted or anything, because I don't feel like Google owns YouTube now. Yeah. And I feel like they don't have a specific agenda. Maybe they do, but like they don't show that in their app. Like they let their app be free and let it does what it wants. So it's like anyone can upload anything.
Well, that's the cool thing about like just any social media now.
I don't know. A lot of it's guided. I heard you talking about algorithms and I walked up a while ago and I was like, dude, I think our whole life is algorithmic.
I think probably Twitter would be the most uncensored now.
Twitter's definitely
like the most freedom
is you can just
say anything you want on
it's
there.
So fast and instant.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, I
didn't join Twitter until like 6 months ago.
And I have had it since like 2014 and I've posted maybe like 8 things on it. I do not use it. It's my most least familiar app because I don't like not the operating system, but the platform. I don't like how it's designed. I don't think it's a very fluid app. I don't think it moves very well. I don't like it.
Like almost any app, you just scroll and scroll and scroll.
I don't think its layout is good. I don't think it has a good layout. That's what it is. It's not like so check this out. You ever go on Netflix and it just makes sense. You get on Netflix and you know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly where you're scrolling, where to search for all that stuff. Can you mute that?
Oh, my bad.
No, it's fine. Because they're going to start, this is our boys in the Discord. They're just going to start sending a bunch of stuff the whole time. Yep, there it goes again. But you get on Netflix and it's the most like easy to operate app. You ever get on Hulu after that and you're like, where the fuck do I even search for shit? You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, yeah.
And that's what it's not a good layout. It's not a good default layout to me.
Yeah.
That's why I opt to Instagram, because I just like the flow of the app better. I still don't have
Instagram.
No?
No.
And it's different. My mom, it's one of those things, it's always like you feel like you don't want to start it because you're like, what the fuck am I going to post? I'm just going to post pictures. Like
I probably could have had one, but like I've got it to this point in life and I don't feel like I need it. So...
And the thing is, to me, is that's how the app started. Definitely it started like for me as like everyone's like I joined in 2013 and it was just like everyone trying to show how good of pictures they could take. Yeah. Right. And they were just like, and that's what the app was for. It was like a picture sharing site. And then eventually over time it had turned into selfies. Like, oh, like I look the best in this one, or like, look how good of a selfie I can take. It's still picture based and it's all image based. But now it's turned into just a regular social media platform where people can post anything. They can post text. I don't really post that often. I use my story a lot because I like to share things.
I feel like every app has a story app.
Yeah, now.
Aspect of it.
Yeah.
Now.
to me, Instagram is like a it's artistic too. It's like it's a creative like platform to me that I can just like almost like something I can curate and share it. It's almost like a vlog or blog more than anything.
What's the first thing you posted on there?
Oh shit, we're gonna have to look it up. I'm pretty sure it's like a picture of my cat on, because I can look it up right now. And I've gone through and like cleaned up a bunch of shit over the times. But let's see. Like I said, I'm scrolling through it right now. What was the first? Well, I'll find this shit. What was the first app you downloaded, like social media app?
I think Snapchat.
Snapchat?
Just because it's communication and
yeah, it's
you can
quick
still post
communication.
stuff on there.
Yeah. No, look, it's definitely my cat.
Oh god.
So
Nice.
I posted this in 2013, November 20th of 2013. And I had it a little bit before I posted anything. So like somebody says, yeah, so I must have had it for a while, but there's one comment on that says, finally, damn, a picture. Like I finally posted a picture, and there's a picture of my cat.
It took you forever to post a picture after you just made it.
Yeah, I just didn't. These are some old ass pictures. These are funny to go through. Actually, I feel like I can just like roast myself in these things, but I have cleaned it up a lot over the years. There was some cringe shit on here.
Everybody has that shit somewhere, either on
they're all
Facebook.
archived, so that's why I deleted. I wish I never did. I deleted my MySpace a long time ago.
Oh my god!
But I wish I did not delete it, because there is some gold mines back then.
Did you have a Yik Yak?
No, that was a big thing when I was in college. Like people on campus use Yik Yak, but I didn't really use it, and I didn't really necessarily understand what was the purpose.
I remember it being talked about like when I was, I think, in high school, like right before I graduated.
It's like a anonymous messaging like platform, right?
I think so. It's some kind of similar. It's basic. What has been described to me is basically anonymous Twitter.
Yeah. It's just like, but it's location based, a lot of it.
Yeah.
And so I've heard recently that it's actually becoming super popular right now, because people are tired of the algorithms and stuff like that. And so if it's anonymous, you don't really have an algorithm, because you don't really have a face to who posted.
Yeah.
And it's just like anonymous information getting shared around, almost like you know how like TikTok has become that now. It's just an information sharing platform. Almost like YouTube. I feel like, and this is me not really having that much experience with the app, I feel like that's what it's used for now. People are just putting out quick anonymous information.
Oh yeah.
But YouTube, back to YouTube. I don't know. YouTube is super important to me. Like I never really had a father figure around to teach me a lot of stuff. Like I have a lot of hobbies that involve working on things like cars, bikes, motorcycles, anything like that. And I have learned all that stuff. That was some of the first stuff I went to YouTube for. One of the first things I remember looking at YouTube was music. And that was like in 2009, 2010, like music videos, because I didn't really stream. That was the way for me to stream music.
Well, I think that was before like really Pandora, Spotify anyway.
My sister broke our computer from LimeWire, so I couldn't use LimeWire anymore. I couldn't use that.
I love LimeWire, bro.
So my sister broke our family computer from LimeWire, or like gave it a bunch of viruses or some shit like that. And then, so I couldn't really use Napster or anything like that after that. So I ended up, like, my mom got me like a super cheap, like maybe like $100 little tiny laptop in like 2009, 2010. I tried to play RuneScape on it and shit. It was so like, it was terrible. It was a terrible laptop. Like, honestly, like an iPhone, the first iPhone would have been way better than that laptop.
God.
It was bad. It was an Acer. It was super shitty. It was basically like a Chromebook, like a little internet browsing machine. But I would, sorry, I probably look crazy looking drinking like that. I just had to get a drink after I talked for so long. So I primarily use YouTube to put together a bunch of like music videos into my own playlist, and I would just like play it while I was taking a shower, play it all the time. I would stream music like that, because the kind of music has always been like fairly important to me. Some of my like earliest memories, like before that, I had a boombox. Like my mom had bought me a boombox one year. She's always kind of got me music gifts, actually, now that I think about it. Like my mom had bought me a CD player one year. She bought me like a boombox. Actually, I owe a lot of like my music like appreciation to my mom. I never told her that. Definitely gonna tell her that. Shout out to you, Mom. You're amazing. So I would take a boombox, and I had a cassette, and I would record the radio onto that cassette and then play it back. So like one of the first album I ever bought was because of the song that used to play all the time. It was T.I., Rubber Band Man. So like that was from that single too. School. Yeah, and that was what I would hear all the time. T.I., Nelly, and 50 Cent. Like that was like the first like artist that I knew their music. I knew who Spice Girls was before that, because my sister had a Spice Girl cassette way back then. But yeah, those are my first artists I had bought on like CD
Nice.
too.
Yeah, I think my music has changed like so dramatically over the years.
Yeah.
Like I probably wasn't allowed to really listen to my own music except probably when I was like maybe 15,
Yeah.
13. But it's kind of like I feel like that age is where you kind of branch off and do your own thing, try to be more independent or something, and try to find your identity. But like music, I think has a lot to do with that with most people.
So that's the fact that you say that. I gotta blow all this fucking smoke out my mouth. Is actually pretty. I've always thought about that. I've always been interested because like when I first met you, like you were kind of just coming out of that marriage and stuff like that. And also he's been married for anyone that hasn't known. I guess that's another whole life step you missed.
Those are kind of intertwined, I feel.
Yeah. Well, we can get back into that topic in a minute too, because we just jump from topic to topic. When I first met you, like we said, we found you off Craigslist, and then like, or Brennan did, and then moved you in, and then I became friends with you, even though I had moved out of that house.
Yeah.
You took my place in the house, basically. So I had moved out of somewhere, and Kyle had moved into that place. But you weren't really like listening to a lot of different things. I felt like I didn't know anything about you. Like we just kind of talked and we bonded on like, I don't know, it just seemed like we kind of like mentally bonded for a minute.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, like you have a similar understanding of things that I do. So I'm going to talk to you.
Well, the thing was with that, like I was coming out of a place where a lot of that aspect of your life is kind of cookie cutter for you. Like you kind of have to fit into a mold a little bit. So at 23, I think when I was,
that was 2 years ago. We were 23.
I was kind of at an age where like I was almost for the first time figuring myself out, like almost all over again.
So like, what was it? We're going to jump back into it more. We jump back. But what was it that made you, because I never asked you this, but now I've got you in the hot seat, I could ask you the tough questions. What was it that you think that like you bonded with me about? What was it?
Honestly, I think kind of because you were like not married, you were engaged at a certain point.
Yeah.
We talked about like just being really young and kind of forced into that kind of situation.
It was an engagement situation.
Yeah.
Life's complicated.
Yeah. I think getting like, I don't understand now, people get married so young, or like that's mainly a religious thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's kind of why I did it. I was 19.
But why do you think that, like what I'm saying, like we connected so fast? It seemed really organic, and I was just like, I don't know, like I just like had nothing bad to say about you, and it was just like friendship.
Yeah, instantly, bro. Instantly.
Well, it was cool though, because like I felt like, I don't know, like when I first met you, you were very like tame, and then like just like yourself, because you were coming out of a shell, and then like the more I've gotten to know you over the next 2 years, you really like turned into like your whole own person, your own ideas and your own thoughts, and like that's just been really cool to see. I still don't know where we started off with and how we got there.
But you started calling me Kyle Massey. That was the first.
I'm talking about even in this. Oh yeah. So I saved your number in my phone as Kyle Massey. I used to really like Corey in the House and That's So Raven as a kid. Like that was some cool shows. And so I saved your name as Kyle Massey. And for like a whole year and a half of our friendship, I did not know your last name. I swear, like I just did not know it. I just assumed, for some reason, like I assumed it was Massey for a while.
Oh my god!
Because I'm pretty sure, like I asked you a few months ago, hey, what's your last name?
No, it was before then. Come on.
I don't know. It was at least a year. At least a year into our friendship that That's I didn't funny. Know your last name. It was just like Kyle. He's just Kyle. And like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know your middle name.
It's Benjamin.
Benjamin. No, there you go. Back to back to religion. I feel like Benjamin is a pretty
religious name.
Yeah,
it's a Bible name. So I think like all those Amish people do that.
Yeah,
specifically a lot.
What's some more like Matthew,
Jebediah,
Joseph, or Joshua.
Oh, Josiah.
So you said that they add extra vowels in.
That was just that specifically.
In what specifically?
Like the name Jehovah. It's like a Hebrew name that they just added vowels to make it English. So it
stems from like Middle East?
Yeah, it's like it was in a Hebrew text.
Yeah. It's like reminding me of all that shit, like everything that's going on in Afghanistan right now. I'm not like the most educated on it, so I'm not going to dive deeply into it.
We talked a little bit about it last night.
Yeah. But yeah. So one of our friends was just kind of, he's a military friend. He's going to remain anonymous. He kind of just gave us like some, maybe not insight, but just some of like, just not an opinion even, just views on, or like information on what's going on. And I'm not even going to like jump into it that much because I'm not that educated on it. I'm looking to pull this up.
Did you see that video?
Huh?
They had video of like them trying to leave with the planes, and everybody's like trying to get on it.
Yeah, we could talk about that in a second. I didn't even watch that video because I don't like we were talking about it. And I was like, I don't like to let that stuff into like my vision. I don't like to let that stuff into my life. It's just
I feel like that's gonna be like
see.
an iconic image like years from now
Well,
when
like,
they talk about this.
That's like when like people like 9/11. So like anyone doesn't know like so basically like the United States has removed. Well, President Biden has removed the troops from Afghanistan for 20 years. And within a week of them doing that, basically all these terrorist groups have taken over Afghanistan in like a week.
Well, they were basically fighting them the whole time and trying to build up their army, but...
And like I said, I don't want to give too much opinion on it and all these things, and I don't really want like the podcast to go in that direction because it's like for the most part lighthearted and shit like that. But it's important news to know. I mean, like I said, in 1 week after we left, and so it's the president has fled, and the Taliban entered Kabul. So Kabul is like the capital of Afghanistan.
It's like the Washington.
Yeah. So the president has left. Like abandoned, basically everyone has left. The like government officials have just given over the city or the country and the city and basically the country to the Taliban, which is crazy. Yeah. But like but I don't, like I said again, I don't want to like put, because I'm not that educated on it if I'm being honest. But somebody was telling us that there's like these videos of like everyone trying to leave the whole just leave Afghanistan, leave Kabul, all these places, these cities in the country too. And people are trying to hold on to the outside of the airplane. Is that what you said? They
were like chasing after the plane, and like some of them actually held on when it took off and like fell down.
It's people like trying to leave the country.
Yeah, that's all. It was like they were trying to get like ambassadors from the embassy and stuff out, like U.S. ambassadors.
Yeah,
and people that worked at the embassy office and their soldiers and everything, and they were just trying to leave. Yeah, but basically they're like barring the people who live there from leaving now that it's under Taliban rule.
So like Taliban have taken over airports and we've got these hostile situations and stuff like that. Damn, I don't know, man. It's crazy, and I feel like people just kind of look at it as like, like what are all like the small issues of it. But I mean, that's crazy to see that that's happening right now.
And like think about that, war has literally been going on like almost our whole lives.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been in the Middle East since the Gulf War, which is like the 90s, and that was before. Like it's over 20 years now, so it's like, I don't know, man. And that's crazy. And so like the fact is that we've just removed our presence from Afghanistan. Biden has said a couple things that just basically saying that like if they haven't gotten it done by now, like if they haven't built their troops up by now, that he doesn't believe they ever will. And I don't know that that's the right answer. I don't know that's the wrong answer. I don't have an opinion on it because again, I'm not really educated on it. But it's just like, I don't know. It's just a crazy, like, possibly world-changing thing. Yeah. Definitely world-changing thing that's going on right now. And I'm sure you can find out all kind of more shit from that on YouTube. Dude, just like we said.
Everything on YouTube.
Everything on YouTube. No, man. Let's get something lighthearted.
All right, I got one for you.
What you got? Because I had a topic, but tell me.
All right. Would you rather fight 1,000 ant-sized bulls?
Yeah.
Or one bull-sized ant?
1,000 ant-sized bulls. So 1,000 bulls that are tiny, or one ant that is the size of a bull.
I feel like that would be scary as fuck.
I would not do dude. I hate bugs. I hate spiders. So I would do 1,000 bulls, tiny bulls.
Just you need to step on them.
Yeah, but also I could just like walk away.
Yeah,
like I could just walk away from one giant bull-sized ant. He would have fucking pinchers and shit, dude. He'd be so scary.
In like the size of his living room.
It's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but like, no. I think there's a video game that's like a survival game that's all based on like tiny people in the yard.
Oh.
I forget. I think it's Overgrown or something like that. I don't know. It looks weird. Yeah, definitely a bunch. What would you choose?
Definitely the same. Like, ants freak me out. I can imagine it being that big. I don't know. It's scary to me.
I don't know.
Don't like spiders?
No, dude, I hate spiders. I fucking hate spiders.
You know what movie terrified me as a kid?
What?
Arachnophobia.
I've never watched it, but I have arachnophobia, so I'm not gonna watch it.
It was terrible.
What's that? What's the rational fear of like the tiny holes? Is it trypophobia?
Trypophobia.
Is that
it's trichophobia? I think.
It might be I don't know.
I have to look it up.
We could look it up, but I don't know if like that's a common one that's kind of niche. Tell them about it.
It's like they're scared of holes, like holes in like a sponge or anything that has like a repeating pattern like that?
Yeah, it's trypophobia.
Trypophobia.
Okay, we're trying to say something that we don't even have a knowledge of. So trypophobia usually involves an intense and disproportionate fear towards holes, repeated patterns, protrusions, etc. And in general images, the presence of high contrast energy and low to mid-range spatial frequencies. So it's just like a picture of, it looks so gross. It does look gross. It's a picture
see why
of a hand with a bunch of these little holes in it.
No.
I don't know. This is triggering. It is gross. It is like the more you actually look at it, like this is some sea barnacle and like
what's the reason behind that? Like
pancake. I don't know. What causes it?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what makes it phobia. Like it's an irrational fear. It doesn't make sense. I think that's the basis of, like phobias. They're irrational fears. They don't make sense. There's not a reason why what would cause it. I think that's what makes a phobia.
I think so.
Like nothing in my life has ever happened to make me scared of spiders. I have never been bit by a spider ever in my life.
You know what I'm scared of?
What?
For real, like wasps.
Wasps?
Not scared, but like, don't fuck with me, wasp. Kind of.
I have gotten stung by a fuck ton of wasps.
Me too, and I still hate them.
So like so that's a rational fear, right? So like you've been stung by wasps and they piss you off and they hate you or you hate them. So it's like that's a rational fear, and I'm pretty sure wasps don't really even give anything to the ecosystem. I'm pretty sure they're just like asshole little stingers.
No, like bees do, but I don't know what wasps do.
But like spiders, I have never been stung by a spider in my life, but they scare the fuck out of me. They creep me the fuck out. You know why?
It's uncomfortable to look at.
Let me tell you exactly why, and I might change your mind. Because first of all, they sitting down, they looking at you with 8 motherfucking eyes, or whatever, a bunch of eyes. Then they have 8 legs, and they're flat, and they're fast. And here's the creepiest thing: you could be staring at one like on the wall, and it's looking at you, and you don't know which direction it's gonna move in next.
It could literally jump
anywhere,
all the way across the room.
It could jump. It could fucking swing. It could shoot a web, or it can go in any direction on the wall, vertically, diagonally. It can move on like any axis.
Spider-Man.
Axis. Yeah, that's the thing with spiders. They're so like mobile, and they don't even have wings, so you can't really predict them. They're scary.
Yeah.
And they're fuzzy, and they're tiny, and like, I don't know. I've never been bitten by a spider in my life. And if I had wood here, I would knock on it, because like I never want to. They're just terrifying to me.
No, fuck spiders.
Fuck spiders. Fuck spiders. Show and tell. You ever had show and tell as a kid?
I think so.
Yeah. What was I remember I was always so bad at like remembering to bring things. I would always forget about it because I've been so fucking ADHD my whole life that I couldn't remember stupid things. I would just pull shit out of my book sack. Like I brought a protractor one day, and like it was a protractor with like little tracer holes that had like a little star you could trace, like a heart, like maybe a lightning bolt or some shit. And I remember having to get in front of the school or the class and saying it. My teacher was like, she was kind of doubting, like, I actually brought that. And obviously I didn't, like, she figured it out. But I had to try and get up there in front of that class, hearing me really go up there and sell it. Like, why is this important to me? Why is that this? Why is this that? And that, I think that's where I learned what bullshitting was. Because I went up there and I was like, oh, this is my thing I wanted to show y'all, because I could trace the star. I could trace the lightning bolt that was in it. I could trace the heart.
If anything school taught us is how to bullshit projects.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's just, this isn't life. How much, I don't like to do that because I like to try hard on a lot of things, but everyone bullshits certain things, right? Yeah, and that's what life is.
It's exhausting to have to actually do what you're supposed to all the time.
That's what life is. How much bullshitting can you do? How much bullshitting can you put up with? And how much bullshitting can you get away with?
That's a good way to look at it.
That's life. See? Life is good. Life is easy. It's not easy. It's fucking hard, but it's better than it was last year, and hopefully it fucking continues on that path.
Yeah.
I don't know. Show and tell. What you got? What did you bring? I need to know.
I think I brought like a jar of marbles.
A jar of marbles?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
That was probably one of the first ones.
You had marbles as a kid?
Yeah.
I had a few of them. I never really knew how to play. I can tell you this much. There's a yoke and there's the grand yoke. I don't know why I said yoke. But there's a yoke and the grand yoke. And the grand yoke is the big motherfucker.
The big marbles like that?
No, the big one. Like, it's like this big.
I didn't have one like that.
And then there's the yolks, which are smaller. And then the regular marbles, which are small. That's my knowledge. I could be totally wrong on this.
Oh, I don't even know that. I just had them because they look cool.
Yeah.
I'll just buy a bag of them. You had all different colors and stuff.
And you could, like, I would shoot them in a circle. Like, did you know how to play darts?
Mm-hmm.
Not darts. Fucking marbles. I knew how to play a little bit. I was used to watch it on a cartoon. They would play it. Maybe Franklin or maybe PB&J Otter or something.
Oh, yeah.
They would like shoot darts in a circle, and so I kind of learned like that, I guess, from a cartoon.
It's like push them out the circle or whatever.
You know, it's a fucking game that I have no clue how to play at all, and just had some as a kid because they look cool, just like you said. Jacks. I have no clue. I don't know what you're supposed to do.
I think you're supposed to like bounce the ball and just pick the jacks up or something like that, right?
I don't know. I have no clue. Like, jacks were so fucking cool to me as a kid because like I could never get them from anywhere. Like, I'd have to get the shitty like rubber ones from like Aladdin's Castle or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But like, you could never actually get actual metal ones.
Yeah, I feel like that would be dangerous though too.
Maybe that's why.
On them. They probably mismade plastic ones.
Maybe that's literally why. Yeah, I never thought about it. I was just like always like, why do we get these cheap ass ones? Not like, why can't I have the badass like not dice?
The cool looking jacks.
Jacks.
Yeah.
So like marbles.
Marbles.
And you just like the way they looked. It was like
collect like
marbles was your rock collection, like your rose quartz and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And all different kind of shit. I probably was like maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I was younger, but
I used to have a rock collection too when I was in the Boy Scouts. I had a whole rock collection I had to build. But what you were saying, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead of you.
You made me think about something else. Boy Scouts. I never did that. Specifically just because
I'm pretty sure the Boy Scouts of America are going bankrupt because they have been sued so many times for like sexual harassment and shit like that. And that's crazy. But that's the same organization like we were talking about earlier, like with churches, how everything is an organization and needs money. Boy Scouts are too. Like when I learned that the Boy Scouts of America was going bankrupt, I was like, how the fuck can Boy Scouts go bankrupt?
Yeah.
And then I really thought that, it's money.
Lawsuits, people not joining, and then the lawsuits that kind of eventually will outnumber it, what their income is.
I don't know, man. See, I was coming in today, I was going to talk about a bunch of shoes and about a bunch of other shit, but it's like, I'm just having fun talking just life with you. I feel like we haven't had this opportunity. I'm going to thank you again for just like fucking coming in like literally the last minute.
I wasn't doing anything.
I wasn't doing anything today. It was an off day. Well, you got anything else for me? What you got? I see you got a bunch of shit pulled up here.
Let me find a good one.
So what you got for me? Just in principle.
In principle?
I swear I have to pee again. I have the bladder the size of a little plastic bag.
If we just like, can we edit this back in?
No, we can't edit. We go all the way through, straight through. So you're gonna have to entertain the camera. This is putting you on the hot seat. Look, I'll buy you a drink after. This will be worth it, right?
All right, bet.
So talk something.
All right.
I think you got this. I think you're a fucking phenomenal co-host. So go for it. Kyle's gonna lead the way.
I hope I become a regular guest if that's the case.
Yeah, you will.
Wouldn't mind. All right, let me see.
Ask them those would you rather and then give you your input.
All right, let's see. Would you rather stand or sit for the rest of your life if you could only choose one? Sit. I'm not standing. Shit, I would have to walk in a wheelchair. That's a tough one. Probably sit. I'm too lazy. Okay, would you rather have 2 huge yellow front teeth like a beaver or 2 pinching teeth like a beetle? I feel like I already got one of those. Let's see. Would you rather have to drink all of your beverages from a huge bucket or a baby bottle?
Well, I need to quit drinking so many beverages so I can quit pissing, but I had to go. Sorry.
Beers.
Yeah, drinking beers and shedding
I think
tears.
beers do that the worst to me.
Really? I haven't drank a beer in a long ass time. Like, it's been so long with all like seltzers and everything out.
Everybody's got a seltzer now.
Yeah, it's just
they're cool. Like
they get old.
Yeah.
But it was like that phase where it was just like, I don't know, man. Like they were just easy to drink and they're cheap as hell and they're low calories for the most part. A lot of them, so you can just kind of pound them and there's no negative of it.
It took a while for me to hop on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
For some reason.
I'm tired of it. I hate them. But I haven't even really been drinking. I've just been fucking work, do some podcast research, try and squeeze in a little game, figure out relationship shit, and then back to work.
Do it again.
Give me another one, because like I heard you saying some of what I was in the other room, and I was like kind of smiling to myself.
I wanted to see. Would you rather have to use your weak hand to eat or to write?
I guess it's kind of like a cheat question for me. I'm partially ambidextrous. Like I can do everything with both, but I was born left-handed, I think.
Really?
If I remember correctly, I was born left-handed. Right. And I'm gonna have to ask my mom for clarification. This is very early childhood memories. Wow, like I love podcasts. You just like triggered a memory for me from asking that. So if I remember correctly, I was born left-handed. My mother's left-handed, and I had a really bad speech impediment when I was a kid, and I couldn't pronounce certain letters, certain consonants. Really, like the consonants, what I always had problems with. Vowels were easy, but for whatever reason, like let's give one example. Like I would always say my name was Wayne as a kid, but I was trying to say Lane. And so as a kid, I would tell people, they would like, hey Lane, like, or hey, what's your name? I'm like, I'm Wayne. And they're like, oh, hey Wayne, it's nice to meet you. And I'm like, no, it's not Wayne, it's Wayne. But I couldn't say the fucking L. And I was like, I don't know, I was probably like 3.
It's funny that it's the actual name though that you're mispronouncing. Like Wayne is an actual name.
Yeah, and so like it made sense to them. They're like, "Oh, hey Wayne," but I'm like, "No, it's not fucking Wayne. It's Lane." But I couldn't say the L. Anyway, so I went to this like speech like impediment little class with, if I remember correctly, it was I'm fairly certain it was like an older like Asian lady, and she kind of like taught me everything. I don't know, maybe it would just help me like read some stuff. It was like a very very short period of time, and I think she told me that it was. Or like told my mom maybe or whatever, or maybe just fixed me on the side that I was writing with my left hand. So then made me write my right hand. And since that day, my handwriting has been shit. I have some of the worst handwriting I have ever seen. Literally look at this and only I can read my handwriting, I swear. Like it literally doesn't make sense. Look at this handwriting.
What the?
My handwriting's bad. Like, and it's kind of embarrassing, but like I can try and write.
From being a server?
No.
Writing shorthand?
No, I think that being a server like probably doesn't help it, but it doesn't hurt it for sure. Like I'm just really good at shorthand now, if anything, because I'm like it's just fucking lines. Right. And like I can write better, but if it's something that I know no one else is gonna see, then like I'm just like
you don't really give a fuck.
But yeah, so that's something interesting that I kind of forgot about, and I'm gonna have to clarify a little bit more information on that. But we were talking about music earlier, and I want to get back in a few more music because, like I said, after I found you for a little bit, or we got more comfortable with each other after a year of knowing each other, you kind of started showing me what you're like. You were bringing new things to me, like, hey, look at this shirt. Like, do you like this? Do you like how I'm dressed? Do you like this? Like, you had things that you wanted, like that were your own opinion and very unique. You were like, just like regular things that regular people have, but you had never had those qualities before.
Yeah,
like,
or
you
like
had been
being able to branch in literally whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
You know?
So you had came to me and one day and was like, hey, this is what music I listen to. Do you listen to this? And it was like some EDM. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, where did you find this from? Like, and I was like, this is such like not what I expected. I expected you to find like butt rock or like just dad rock before that. You know, like start where I started off with music.
That's probably where I started a long time ago, which was all I really could listen to.
Yeah.
And then
Nickelback.
Fucking Nickelback, bro. I got a funny picture to show you. Hold on.
You got a funny Nickelback picture?
It's not a Nickelback picture. It's a picture I saw when we went to Florida.
Oh, yeah. It looks like, I think it's Chad Kroeger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the singer from Nickelback.
It's supposed to be Thor.
That's supposed to be Thor? You're going to have to send it to me and I'll show it to him on there. I'll put it in there, the little bottom right.
Thor,
that's funny.
Nickelback.
But we'll jump into another one. Yeah, we just got back from vacation. We're like late into this and just kind of updating everyone. This podcast has no flow today, but it's nice. It's just a filler thing. We're just trying to get some content out this week, a little bit more consistent. We went on vacation this last, a week ago now?
Something like that, yeah.
And we went for 5 days. Me, Kyle, Zane, actually, and all of our girlfriends, we all went together. And it was like a super fun trip. We may or may not have done some things. We may or may not have enjoyed ourselves too much. We enjoyed ourselves. And we're not going to speak on too much.
We'll just leave it at that.
I'll leave it at that. But we did some cool ass shit, man. We like rented scooters. We went drive from like 4 o'clock in the morning, or like 2 to 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't remember what time we stopped. Probably like 3 o'clock. We were just driving down the Panama City. We went to Panama City Beach too. We stayed there. We went through the strip, and I'll post some videos. We're just like cruising through.
It's fun, man.
Man, it was super cool. Like just getting to see all the lights and getting to see air in your face and all that stuff on 2 wheels. It was funny. Your girlfriend.
You used to drive a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Though,
so it was fun, but it's fun to me. It's fun to do it again. You know, we haven't done it in a long time. Your girlfriend, though, unfortunately, took a spill, a nasty little spill. She's okay.
She hit that stop sign.
Allegedly.
Hit that stop sign.
Allegedly, Kyle's girlfriend, Maddie, wrecked the scooter. very hard into a stop sign post. Came away with no damages, right?
Only her pride.
Only her pride was hurt.
And a little bit of bruising.
So she was like, it's just like the brakes were kind of tricky, and she was trying to like, she didn't really drive it for very long, and she just got on the road, and like
to her benefit, I did not tell her
yeah
to use both brakes.
And I was worried, but I'm not going to be the person like, oh no, you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. I'm never that person. I hate those people. So I was like, go for it, try it. But I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh shit. So I stayed behind her and we were riding behind her. I just got like a first row seat to it, and I thought I witnessed like something like super traumatic, because like she was going like 30 miles per hour and like went to turn and then hit a stop sign and like flew off the bike and kind of rolled and then just laid there. I'm like, what the fuck?
I was right in front of her. I saw the whole thing. Like in my rear view, and I threw that Jeep in reverse. I freaked the fuck out.
I wish we had a GoPro for this moment, because I never saw somebody going from forward into reverse, especially in a Jeep, in such a short amount of time. I was so impressed. I was like, damn, that's some power movie right there, Kyle. And then he jumped out that car and ran over, and then I pulled over the scooter and we was there.
As soon as I thought she was fine, I was just mad, because I was like, why you did that?
But I mean, like, shit happens, man. And like, as long as she's okay, like, what's a little $200 deposit anyway?
Which I still kept.
Allegedly. There was no damages done. This is all an alleged story. Mm-hmm. But she got tossed off that fucking scooter, allegedly. And trying to protect our innocence. But it looked way worse. She flew into like a little sandbar with like some little trees and some bushes, and so she was okay. Beyond that, we did a human maze.
That was fun.
That was stressful. That was really stressful.
It
I learned some good relationship lessons.
It was outside.
Yeah.
We started off together and we just split up, did our own thing, like Scooby-Doo style.
So there's like this human maze, and Kyle walks into it and he's like, yo, this is not a maze. This is stupid. I'm not gonna get lost. It took us 45 minutes to do the whole maze, and it's like you go in and everything looks the same. It's these white like little corridors,
little walls, yeah.
Yeah, and they just like kind of like turn and like they go over your head and below your feet, and so you can't really see. You can look if you get on the ground. And I was actually like so frustrated to a certain point. I was trying to crawl underneath them, like I'm about to get the fuck. I'm about to cheat. But Nikki pulled me up and told me I couldn't cheat because we wanted to beat y'all. Oh, anyway, so they had these like 4 checkpoints in the thing, and you had to find the checkpoints, and the checkpoints had like little lookovers, and you could kind of see the maze for a little bit, and you go back down into it, and you were just trying to get all 4 checkpoints. And we got split up at a certain point, and then it became a race, and it ruined it for me. I was like trying to race to beat Kyle and Maddie, and I'm literally
beat you not by much.
No,
like a couple minutes,
because like me and Nikki had got ahead of y'all, and was like super excited. I was like, let's go. And so I was like running, dude. I was dripping in sweat, like so competitive. And then I was like, I give up. And then like it taught me something so cool, because Nikki was like, hey, come see. After I like given up, and she just kind of like walked me through the maze in like 30 seconds after I had been running around for like 20 minutes lost. And I'm like, damn, all right, I need to trust you more. Like, that's cool. Thanks for showing me that.
Definitely good team building exercise.
Yeah, definitely. You know what's funny? That's literally what Maddie said. Your girlfriend was like, I want to do something corny like team building stuff. And I was like, yeah,
perfect.
That's cool, I guess. And then the maze was just that. We wanted to do an escape room, but we didn't have enough people. But man, it was just a good experience. Get away from work for a little bit, take a break, enjoy ourselves, and just like,
it was relaxing to me.
Just relax. Just relax and vibe. I drank a little bit too much one night. Yeah. You drink a little bit too much, you throw up. It's all fun. And it's not vacation if you're not drinking a little bit too much, in my opinion.
You have to.
There's like this weird science, I feel like, when you in the water and your body's kind of weightless. Mm-hmm. And so you could drink all day. You could just drink all day when you're in the water because you're not carrying your own weight. You kind of don't realize.
It feels weird like sitting in there all day and you get out and have to walk.
And then you get out and then you walk, and then all of a sudden you're like stumbling and shit like that. I'm like, whoa, I'm way more drunk than I was. Because then you actually have to hold up your own weight and your body has to function, and then you fucking like stumble and fall. Your whole world's come crashing down. But is there any music that's coming out? Because I'm looking at some music stuff right now coming out soon that you're interested in.
Not that I can think of. Is anybody?
No, it's just
what's
like
gonna be dropping.
So it's the only thing soon. Like me and Zane talk a lot more about music because we're just like fucking nerds about music. Like this is just the whole Kanye and Drake thing. Like when they're gonna drop their album. They're both been supposed to drop.
I thought Kanye didn't drop it yet.
No, see exactly that. Like I pay attention to all that news and like to talk about. All
I heard news. He like teased the whole thing.
Yeah,
and then didn't do it, and then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he like teased his album once, like he had a live listening party, and then he had a second one, and it was a totally different version of the album in like a 2-week period. And so basically he's been saying he's going to release it. The projected date is August 22nd now, and everyone's theory is that Kanye and Drake, or that's my theory anyway, are going to try and drop on the same day, or trying not to drop on the same day. And I feel like that's why they keep pushing their release dates back and keep working on the album. I don't know. Just one of my closing thoughts, I guess. We've been at this for an hour and 15 minutes or so. So we've been getting at this, dude. That
shit flew by.
So how'd you think about this? Like, how's your first podcast experience? We just kind of talked, cut up, and just chilled.
Yeah. I feel like this is a conversation we just have on the couch.
And that's kind of like what we want the podcast to be too. It's like me and Zane were discussing that, like, we're just like regular people. We just have like multiple interests in a lot of things that we think's interesting, and we like to talk. So like maybe people might find it interesting. And we're not like a super niche fucking SpongeBob podcast. We might dive into some repeating patterns and topics, but it's just supposed to be like regular stuff, talking about what's in the area and stuff like that. But yeah, for the most part, I mean,
see where it goes.
See where it goes.